Hey folks, this is Tracy with Scrappy's Rustics. In this video, we're going to make a Halloween home decor piece that's it's a little something. So the wood cauldron came from Michael's. There's some cheesecloth that we don't end up using. We're going to use IOD air dry clay, which is Iron Orchid Designs. We are using a napkin that we have on our website, scrappysrustics.com. Has some skulls and just stuff on it. And we're using the grapes mold by Iron Orchid Designs. And we're also using a neon purple paint by Pop of Color. I wanted to use the crow, however, we don't end up using that either. Sorry, spoiler alert. The cutout is from the Dollar Tree, and it looks a little weird like that because I used it previously to bleach a t-shirt. This is just a 12 by 12 piece of birch I painted with white chalk paint. Now we are going to put some, I believe that's DIY patina. You could use Mod Podge, whatever medium you have of your choice. And we're just getting that on there evenly so we can get our napkin decoupage down. Of course, I had too much on there, so I'm just scraping the excess off. Napkins can sometimes be a little finicky. So I dried it. We're going to do the iron method because it is 12 by 12, fairly large size. Chances of getting it on there straight in the way I want it first time around, the odds are not too good. So the iron method is, in my opinion, in a napkin, the best way to go. Just making sure I got all the plies off there. If you take a little painter's tape, it helps you get the plies off. And I guess I got them all. That napkin was kind of thick. It really felt like it had another ply there. Luckily, all these skulls and designs all went the same way, so I could use the entire napkin. And I am just setting it where the placement I want. And I have my little Cricut iron heat tool there. And we're just ironing it on. This is a foolproof way to not get any wrinkles or tears. Put down your medium, let it dry, and then put some parchment paper down in a hot iron, and it reactivates your medium. It did tighten it up a little there, so I'm trying to just pull it taut and get it out in the corners so it's no wrinkles. So now we're using the gator, and we're just sanding off any excess. As you can see on the two sides, you can see a little bit of the white showing. We take care of that in the end. So I'm just putting DIY patina over the top to protect our surface for all the other good stuff we're going to do to it. Those brushes I'm using are actually made for decoupaging. They are by Tim Holtz. They come in a 3-pack, basically small, medium, and large brush. They're very nice. It's more of they put the medium on instead of like pushing it around. I don't know if that makes sense. It has a little reservoir in it to help spread your medium instead of pushing it around. It's kind of interesting. So we're using Pop of Color. I really feel like Halloween is probably one of the only holidays you could get away with using this pretty wild color. It's very magenta. I had to paint all around the edges because of the way it was going to be sitting. However, I got frustrated because it was so skinny. You know how thin these Dollar Tree cutouts are. So I ended up just putting it flat and just putting the paint on the sides like this. It was much faster and more efficient, believe it or not. I don't know if it's because I had the bleach on this piece of wood prior, but man, this thing ended up taking like 5 coats of paint, and in the end, I ended up using a dabber to just even it out. So this cauldron, which is, I don't know what, witch's pot, came from Michael's. It's thick and chunky, but it's very lightweight. So I wanted the witch's cauldron, I hope I'm saying that right. I wanted it to be 3D, is why I bought the other one. And I was going to cut this one off, and I thought, no, because everything's black and whatever, we're just gonna kind of disguise it and leave it all in one piece instead of, because the wood's so thin it probably would have cracked. So it ended up working out. So now I'm just covering up the white where the napkin didn't cover. So what I did is I went around all the sides and made like a frame with just a little bit of Wise Owl black paint with my dabber, and it worked perfectly. It really blended everything in and just kind of softened it up and gave it a border. So now we are putting some Mod Podge on our witch's pot just to protect that, because we are going to put some clay on there and some good stuff. I've been dying to use this grapes mold, and I just hadn't really know what to use it for. And to my opinion, it looks like bubbles coming out of out of a witch's brew. So here I am using the big old dauber because I could not get this paint to dry the same color. Like I said, I don't know if it was the bleach prior to it or what the heck was going on, but this did the trick. I was getting frustrated with it. I was ready to can it, but now you can see it looks great and the true color is there. And from that angle, you can't even tell that other piece of witch's pot is there. So now we're going to use the grapes mold. And you can see our little project coming along here. This project took over a few days. I did it here and there. So I want it to look like the bubbles are spilling out of the pot. So just trying to see which part of the mold I should use. So there we have some cornstarch. You don't have to use cornstarch, but it certainly helps releasing your mold. Especially I live in Florida, so it's extremely humid. So it really helps release your molds nicely. So there's no pull. So I'm just tapping off the excess cornstarch. And you want to keep your air dry clay wrapped up at all times because it is air dry clay. In my opinion, the IOD air dry clay is the best. Any air dry clay is going to shrink and crack by nature. I feel like this does it the least amount. So I'm just pushing that in there and getting what I need. I think I do this whole thing here. Yeah, this littler one. The leaves and the little squirrely things on this mold are fantastic for pumpkins. I feel like it screams fall leaves and little springy things. Although they're supposed to be a grapevine and grape leaves, to me they look more like pumpkin leaves, and they're fantastic. And I didn't even really think to use that until I saw someone else, and then I looked at them. I was like, wow, who knew? So the other grape wad is pretty big. So we're just going to use a piece of that, and then that there is just a single grape. I really thought I could use this oh no, it's a 3 thing of grapes. There is a single one we use as well. Look how cool that looks. Looks like bubbles. I wish they looked more like balloons, because I feel like that'd be kind of cool if we decoupaged a little girl or something like that and made a faux string and like she was floating some balloons. So we're using Titebond Quick and Thick. This is my go-to glue. The only thing I can suggest to you is when you're putting your mold on, you don't have to put a lot of glue on, but you want to make sure you get it to the edges, because this just helps it from pulling away and shrinking and doing all those things. So get your glue to the edge. I feel like too much glue is going to squirt out and make a mess, so just get that happy medium. I wasn't sure what to do. This is freshly taken out, freshly casted, so it's extremely bendable. So I just folded it right over the side of our witch's pot there, and it worked out perfectly. I really didn't know where to go with this. I just kind of went with it and hoped for the best. Again, just putting the glue to the edges. All of the products you're seeing today, as far as the molds, the glue, the clay, you're going to see some pentart products, are available on our website at scrappysrustics.com. And yeah, we have a nice variety of unique items, stuff that, you can't buy every day on Amazon or Hobby Lobby or something like that. So I'm just trying to figure out what to do with that little 3-pack of bubbles I made. So I thought, oh, okay, let's just put them down there because they totally look awkward everywhere else. Looks like they're spilling out. Would have been cool in hindsight. Had my board been bigger, we could have done like crossbones and a little bit of fire underneath the witch's pot there, but yeah, that didn't happen. So I'm just making a couple more. Like I said, there is a single one there as well. There it is. One single grape, and then that 3-pack of grapes again, just to give a little more symmetry. Just kind of made this up as I went. Thought it looked good there, just so it looks like it's bubbling over and out. And never turn your back on a mold for the good 10, 20 minutes. Just want to make sure it's stuck down on the sides. If it's pulling up, just stick it down. So I let that dry overnight. Now we're just putting the single ones on the top, so those are like bubbles coming out of our witch's pot, because I don't know if cauldron is the right word or not. Now it sounds really funny. I'm just wiping off the excess glue and powder that I got on our black. And that was a mistake, by the way. I was using a baby wipe, and the fuzz ended up sticking in some of the wood there. So that was fun getting that out later. Now she just fits there. Just fits. Like just fits. So I decided to write on the table some couple of markings on where to put her. Again, we're using the Titebond Quick and Thick. Now I did spread this out, and I put some weight on top of it, and I let it dry overnight. I don't care for hot glue that much. I feel like it makes more of a mess, and it dries too fast on me, or I'm not quick enough. I don't really know. I seem to have the best results. I know you gotta wait, but sometimes it's worth the wait. So it dried overnight. Now we're going to paint all of our clay black. And the reason we're painting them black is because we're going to use the Pentart Chrome Effects. And what it is a pigment powder that gives you an effect of a chrome look. It is the neatest thing, but it needs a black background for the chrome effect. You're supposed to use a dipping paint. However, I did not do that. I just used Wise Owl. I actually used Wise Owl 1 Hour Enamel Black, which has a sealer in it, and it worked out fine. You'll see in the end. So now I have the stencil. Oh, good grief. What is the name of this? This is a stencil by Vintage Retail Therapy by Mara. Dang, it's a beautiful stencil. It's a 2-part. One side is crackle, and the other side is like chicken wire or honeycombs. I cut mine in half because it's pretty large. But she does have that available on her website. She custom designed it, vintageretailtherapy.com. Check her out. She has some beautiful stencils. Pretty awesome. She designs them herself. Because I just felt like the witch was too plain. So I thought that crackle did her good. Did her real good. And these are like 18 millimeter stencils, so they're like super thick and really well made, and they'll last you forever. Yeah, she needed something. Like I said, this project kind of took a life of its own, and just worked on it when I could. So now it's time for the magic to happen. This is the Pentart. Look at that color. This is the Pentart Chrome Effect in the color Magenta, and I believe the other one is Dragon's Eye, which is more of a iridescent type color opposed to a solid color. Ironically, it ends up matching the witch perfectly, and I did not plan that, so it couldn't have went over better. I mean, I'm sure a witch's bubbles aren't pink, but there's no rules in creating, right? It just felt right. It looked right. It looked good. So what you need to do is you need clear wax. First of all, you need a black background on whatever you're using the chrome effect on. You need clear wax, and you need the Pentart Chrome Effects. Now, I don't have that much at all on my brush, and watch how far this spreads. Look at that. I mean, that is just sick. It is so vibrant. It was falling off because it was crumbling off my brush, so I was trying to catch it. I end up using it off the table later. But just that one dip, we get pretty far because the container is pretty small. Normally, I like to use my finger, but it was hard to get into all those little cracks and crevices. Now, I could have highlighted just the top of the grapes, like all the parts that are, the upper parts, but I really wanted full coverage in this case. But we have all kinds of colors, silvers and rose golds and greens and blues and ruby reds and greens. I think I already said greens, but all different, silver and gold. Just, it's a really cool thing. Look how vibrant. It's crazy. And it has that shiny chrome effect. So then I thought I'd try the iridescent, which I think it's the Dragon's Eye. I can't remember exactly. which one that is. There's so many of them. I want to say there's like 15 different colors. And some of them are iridescent. But I don't like glitter. And this stuff is borderline glitterish as far as being stuck all over the place. So we're just testing this out. And this is definitely a different look. I was just kind of thinking greenish, you know, give it that highlight. I didn't really care for it, but in the end, I end up mixing it in with the magenta, and it looks nice. And again, it's just a little bit of clear wax and the pentart chrome pigment. Pentart has some amazing stuff out. A lot of stuff I don't even know what it is. I have to Google it to see if something we'd be interested in and then try it out. But this stuff is, I really think, and I'm not really a shiny type of person, but I think this chrome is really cool, especially for, look at that. Look how bright that is. Especially for Christmas ornaments. The ruby red is just, oh, such a beautiful red. I don't even like red. Pretty cool project. A little bit something different. So you can see I'm mixing the green and the pink because the green was just a little too much there. And now making our bubbles up top. A little pink. And it did fall on my picture itself, but just swooshed it off later. I messed up here and my camera was off when I thought it was on and vice versa, so you missed the embellishments parts. Be sure to visit our website at scrappysrustics.com. If you enjoyed this video and inspired you, please share, like, and comment. To see more, follow me both on Facebook and YouTube, and make sure you turn on notifications for both so you'll know when new videos are uploaded. And yeah, there I have it. I'm trying to place it, and I turned it off when I put the embellishments on. So there we have our masterpiece. How cool is that? Different and unique. I love it. It's so vibrant. The skull's head. See you guys in the next video.